Senate will come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Senators Baisley, Bridges, Buckner, Coleman, Cutter, Danielson, Exum, Fields, Gardner, Hanson,
Excused.
Hinrichsen, Jaquez Lewis, Kirkmeyer, Kolker, Liston, Lundin, Marchman, Moreno, Mullica, Pelton B, Pelton R, Priola, Rich, Roberts, Rodriguez, Simpson, Smallwood, Sullivan, Van Winkle, Will, Winter, Zenzinger. Mr. President.
Here. Morning roll call is 34 present, 0 absent, 1 excused. We have a quorum. Will the good senator from Grand Junction, sorry, you just sat down, please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the journal. Senator Priola.
Morning, Mr. President. Members, I move that the Senate Journal of Wednesday, March 1st, 2023 be approved as corrected by the Secretary.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no? The ayes have it. That motion is adopted. Senate Services.
March 2nd, 2023, correctly engrossed Senate Bill 78 and 102, Senate Joint Resolution 6, correctly re-engrossed Senate Bill 108, correctly revised House Bill 1007 and 1064, correctly re-revised House Bills 1043 and 1072, correctly enrolled Senate Bill 46 and 73.
Committee reports.
March 1st, 2023, the Committee on Education, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. Senate Bill 71 be postponed indefinitely. Senate Bill 149 be amended as follows, and as so amended, be referred to the Committee on Appropriations with favorable recommendation. March 1st, 2023, the Committee on Agriculture and Natural Resources, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. Senate Bill 13 be amended as follows, and as so amended, be referred to the Committee on Appropriations with favorable recommendation. March 1st, 2023, the Committee on Transportation and Energy, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. House Bill 1123 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation, and with a recommendation that be placed on the consent calendar. March 1st, 2023, Committee on Judiciary, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. House Bill 1145 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation, with a recommendation to be placed on the consent calendar. Senate Bill 103 be postponed indefinitely.
Message from the House.
March 1st, 2023, Mr. President, the House has voted to concur in the Senate amendments to House Bills 1005 and 1014 and has repassed the bills as so amended.
Introduction of bills.
Senate Bill 173, Senators Fields and Liston, Representative Bradley, concerning recommendations of the Colorado Child Support Commission.
Health and Human Services.
Senate Bill 174, Senators Kolker and Gardner, concerning access to behavioral health services for Medicaid recipients under 21 years of age.
Health and Human Services.
Senate Bill 175, Senators Jaquez Lewis and Rich, Representatives Bazenaker and Taggart, concerning the use of tax increment financing by downtown development authorities and in connection therewith, creating automatic extensions of the periods during which a portion of property tax revenues may be allocated to finance projects of an authority and allowing an authority to incur debt under certain circumstances.
Finance.
House Bill 1025, Representatives Taggart and Michelson Janay, Senator Rich, concerning extension of charter school applications.
Education.
House Bill 1099, Representatives Vigil and Wiseman, Senators Fields and Exum, concerning tenant screening documentation for residential leases.
Local government housing.
House Bill 1156, Representatives Taggart and Young, Senators Colker and Pelton R., concerning modernization of the Public Airport Authority Act.
Transportation and energy.
House Bill 1172, Representative Parenti, Senator Hawkes Lewis, concerning changes to child welfare proceedings.
Judiciary. Members, please join me in welcoming back to the Senate chamber once again Senator Gail Schwartz. Senator Schwartz, Senator Hansen is very tardy today, so feel free to just step in for him. Third reading of bills. Consent calendar. Will the clerk please read the title to the bill on the consent calendar?
House Bill 1007, Representatives Catlin and Amabile, Senators Roberts and Pelton B., concerning crisis services information on student identification cards.
Majority Leader Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the passage of the one bill listed on the third reading consent calendar, House Bill 1007.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the passage of the bill on the third reading of bill's consent calendar. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, House Bill 1007 is passed. Co-sponsors: Senators Rich, Pelton R., Van Winkle, Smallwood, Will, Exum, Minority Leader Lundin, Majority Leader Moreno, Mullica, Kirkmeyer, Colker, Hawkes Lewis, Rodriguez, Fields, Priola, Buckner, Cutter, Marchman, Janal, Winter, Zenzinger, Bridges, Sullivan. Please add the president. Third reading of bills. Final passage. Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 78?
Senate Bill 78, Senators Fields and Van Winkle, Representatives Judah and Lynch, concerning warranty reimbursements made by a motor vehicle manufacturer to motor vehicle dealers.
Senator Van Winkle.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of Senate Bill 78 on third reading and final passage.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the passage of Senate Bill 78. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 78 is passed. Co-sponsors: Senators Rodriguez, Colker, Priola, Minority Leader Lundin, Liston, Kirkmeyer,
Auto dealers and manufacturers.
Gardner, Janal, Buckner, will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 102?
You did all the heavy lifting.
Senate Bill 102, Senators Gardner and Rodriguez, concerning, and Representatives Wiseman and Soper, concerning implementation of the Committee on Legal Services recommendations in connection with legislative review of state agencies' rules.
Senator Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 102 on third reading and final passage. And since it involves every regulation promulgated in the state of Colorado in the last cycle, requests that all of them be read ad length. But discretion being the better part of valor, Mr. President, I withdraw that part of the request and renew my motion.
All too bad.
The motion is the passage of Senate Bill 102. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 102 is passed. Co-sponsors: Senators Roberts, Gonzalez, Smallwood, Exum, Rich, Priola, will the clerk please read the title to House Bill 1064?
I love it.
House Bill 1064, Representatives Lukens and Young, Senator Marchman, concerning the enactment of the Interstate Teacher Mobility Compact.
Senator Marchman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move HB 1064 for third reading and final passage.
Is there any discussion? Senator Kolker.
Thank you, Mr. President. I really want to talk about the sponsor to this bill. Let's make sure that we give her a good birthday present and vote for this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Minority Leader Lundin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise in diminished opposition to House Bill 1064. There are elements in this bill that I think don't do the project as well and as optimal as
Mr.
could
Minority
be.
Leader.
But I'm grateful.
Will you pause for just one moment? Members, we are on third reading, and we do need the chamber to be a little bit quieter to be able to understand and hear the debate, but also for the clerk to hear co-sponsorships and for you to hear when I actually call your name. Many of you kept your name raised after I called it because you couldn't hear me. And so let's please keep it down and have respect for the discussion and the debate at the well, especially during third readings. Please proceed, Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Colleagues, it is so good to have your attention and to be in your presence this morning. I was saying I rise in diminished opposition to 1064. I'll still be a no vote because I think there are underlying elements of the bill that are suboptimal. We could do a better job of this effort of making military spouses have greater access to the opportunity to teach here in Colorado. But I want to call out the fact that this has been a very good, I believe, policy-making experience. I think we are now considering a late bill that perhaps would get at the fact we need teachers today, not a year or two from now, as this compact would allow for. And I'm grateful for the engagement on the broader issue that I believe will get us to the point where we, in cooperation, will actually resolve the issue in a temporary way, close to immediately, and then in a more permanent way as we go forward with this bill. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the passage of House Bill 1064. Are there any no votes? Senators Van Winkle, Will, Baisley, Rich, Gardner, Minority Leader Lundin, Liston, Pelton B, Pelton R, Simpson. With a vote of 24 ayes, 10 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, House Bill 1064 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Malika, Exum, Roberts, Mr. Majority Leader, Gonzalez, Rodriguez, Fields, Danielson, Priola, Buckner, Cutter, Jaquez Lewis, Janal, Winter, Zenzinger, Bridges, Coleman. Please have the president. General orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar. Senator Danielson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of general orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion is adopted, and the Senate will resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for the consideration of the general order, second reading of bills, consent calendar, and Senator Danielson will take the chair.
The committee will come to order and the court rule is relaxed. Ms. Cole, please read the title of the bill on the general orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar.
House Bill 1051, Representative Lucan, Senators Robertson, Pelton are concerning the continuation of high-cost support mechanism funding for rural telecommunications providers and in connection therewith aligning the repeal date of such high-cost support mechanism funding with the sunset repeal date of the high-cost support mechanism.
Senator Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move for the adoption of the bill on the consent calendar, which is House Bill 23-1051, and there is no committee report.
Is there any discussion on the bill on the consent calendar? The motion before the body is the adoption of the bill on the consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the bill is adopted. Senator Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion is for the committee to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. The committee will rise and report.
The Senate will come to order. Senator Danielson.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has had a bill under consideration. Ms. Cole, please read the report.
Mr. President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report it has had under consideration the following attached bills, being the second reading thereof, and makes the following recommendations thereon. House Bill 1051 passed on second reading and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Senator Danielson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the report.
The motion is the adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. House Bill 1051 passed on second reading, order revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. General orders, second reading of bills. Senator Danielson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the committee of the whole for consideration of general orders, second reading of bills.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. That motion is adopted. The Senate will resolve itself into the committee of the whole for the consideration of the general orders, second reading of bills, and Senator Danielson will take the chair.
It's going to be a big deal.
The committee will come to order, and the court rule is relaxed. Ms. Cole, please read the title to Senate Bill 93. Oh, I'm sorry, Senator Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that Senate Bill 23-093 be laid over on the calendar until Monday, March the 6th.
Thank you, Senator Rodriguez. The motion is to lay over Senate Bill 93 until March the 6th. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. Senate Bill 93 will be laid over until March the 6th. Ms. Cole, please read the title of House Bill 1101.
House Bill 1101, Representatives V. Hill and Bacon, Senator Winter F., concerning support for transit and in connection therewith, increasing the flexibility of the ozone season transit grant program and increasing opportunities for transit agency participation in regional transportation planning.
Senator Heinrichson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. House Bill 1101 is updates to the highly successful zero fare for better air bill that was passed last year, and most notably, it makes adjustments concerning the high ozone periods, which in the western slope is during the winter time, whereas this was designed for summertime, which we experience here on the Front Range. I ask for your support and move House Bill 1101 for third reading and final passage.
Thank you, Senator Heinrichson. Could you also please move the committee report?
And I move the Transportation and Energy Committee report.
To the committee report. Senator Winter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The committee report does make that flexibility for using this at different high ozone seasons for example, on the West Slope in the winter, and also ensuring that this money can go towards ridership surveys. And we encourage you guys to vote on the committee report.
Thanks. Is there further discussion on the committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the Transportation and Energy Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. The committee report is adopted. To the bill. Senator Winter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This expands this successful program across the state. Every single institution that used this money saw increase in ridership, and we look forward to having it be an even larger success this year.
Is there further discussion on the bill? Minority Leader Lundin.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. The last phrase, across the state, piqued a question that was kind of bouncing around in my mind. I would ask the bill sponsors, the Roaring Forks Association in Pitkin County, what level of participation, what level of funding distributes to that. I'm trying to understand, does this actually speak to the state broadly, or is this an urban core only issue? And I will vamp while the bill sponsor brings her file up with the very information necessary to answer the very question that I am contemplating. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Senator Winter.
Thank you to the good senator from Monument for the question. So specifically to places like the Roaring Fork and Fort Collins, they were already offering free fares. And so they didn't participate because we weren't going to subsidize something that was already happening. However, we said that they would be eligible for this if they expanded frequency of service or expansion of service. However, transit agencies are seeing a hard time hiring new drivers, just like all employers across the state. They're having a hard time getting there. So one of the things that we're adding to the flexibility of this is to advertise the free fares they're already doing so that Roaring Fork and Fort Collins could participate this year to increase ridership. So that's specifically to that example. Colorado also has more rural public transit than any other state in the country, which is something we should be proud of. And this does reach all corners of the state. So in the last year, Archuleta County used this program and saw a 56% increase. Bank County, 10% increase. The Bank County GATS program, 28% increase. City of Fountain, 39%. Durango, 36%. La Junta, 9%. Greeley, 38%. Mountain Metro, which I believe is in your district, is 48%. Northeastern Colorado Association of Local Governments, 17% increase. Pueblo, a 59% increase. Prowers Area Transit, 23% increase. San Miguel Authority for Regional Transportation, 3% increase. South Central Council of Governments, 2% increase. And Southern Colorado Roadrunner, a 40% increase. So a lot of good rural transit increases.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of House Bill 1101. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. No. The ayes have it. House Bill 1101 is adopted. Ms. Cole, please read Senator Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that House Bill 23-1134 be laid over until Monday, March the 6th.
The motion before us is to lay over House Bill 1134 until March the 6th. Is there discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is to lay over the bill. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1134 will be laid over until March the 6th. Senator Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion before us is to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. The committee will rise and report.
Senate will come to order. Senator Danielson.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has met and had a number of bills under consideration. Ms. Cole, please read the report.
Mr. President, your Committee of the Whole begs leave to report it has had under consideration the following attached bills, being the second reading thereof, and makes the following recommendations thereon. House Bill 1101 as amended, passed on second reading and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 93 and House Bill 1134 laid over until March 6, 2023, and retaining their place on the calendar.
Senator Danielson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of the report.
The motion is the adoption of the Committee of the Whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, the Committee of the Whole report is adopted. House Bill 23-1101 is amended, passed on second reading, and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 23-093 and House Bill 23-1134 laid over until 3/6/2023 and retaining their place on the calendar. Would the clerk please add Senator Hansen to the roll? Senator Baisley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 48?
Oh, one second, Senator Baisley, 1 second.
That's his part. Will the president please do your part? Hello. There you go. In consideration of... I'm getting prompted by too many people and I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Consideration of House amendments to Senate bills.
This guy, right?
Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 48?
Senate Bill 48, Senators Baisley and Burgess, Representatives Amabile and Hamrick, concerning extending the length of an employment contract for a non-tenure track appointment.
Senator Baisley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate concur with the House amendments to Senate Bill 48.
You don't even know what the changes are.
Is there any discussion? Senator Baisley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, a lot of us own dogs, right? And you kind of, they kind of like to mark that territory as they go along, and that's all this really is. It's a little bit of marking of territory from the House of Representatives on this otherwise good bill. All the amendment does is it just retains the words at a minimum within the, and so there's no substantive change. So I say we overlook their indiscretion and concur.
Senator Bridges.
Thank you, Mr. President. No substantive change, I think, is really just exactly what the House is there for. So ask for an aye vote on concurring with the House amendments.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion is that the Senate concur with the House amendments to Senate Bill 48. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, the motion is adopted. Senator Baisley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the repassage of Senate Bill 48.
The motion is a repassage of Senate Bill 48. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, Senate Bill 48 is repassed. Co-sponsors. Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 51?
Senate Bill 51, Senators Hendrickson and Sullivan, Representatives Ortiz and Lukens, concerning preparation of a skilled workforce for the changing nature of work.
Senator Hendrickson.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is with great consternation that I move that the Senate concur with the House amendments to Senate Bill 51.
Is there any discussion? Senator Hendrickson.
Thank you, Mr. President. The House made a technical amendment that adjusted some of the language in the bill to reflect U.S. Department of Labor language in specific reference to U.S. Department of Labor policies, and I ask for support for concurrence.
The motion is that the Senate concur with the House amendments to Senate Bill 51. Are there any no votes? With a vote of Senator Rich. Any other no votes? To the amendment. With 34 ayes, 1 no, 0 absent, and 0 excused, the motion is adopted. Senator Henriksen.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the repassage of Senate Bill 51.
The motion is repassage of Senate Bill 51. Are there any no votes? Mr. Minority Leader. Senators Rich, Van Winkle, Simpson, Pelton B, Pelton R, Liston, Kirkmeyer, Smallwood, Baisley, Will. With a vote of 24 ayes, 11 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, Senate Bill 51 is repassed. Co-sponsors. Consideration of governor's appointments. Consent calendar. Will the clerk please read all the appointments listed on the consent calendar?
Members of the Juvenile Parole Board for terms expiring November 15th, 2026, Rachel Victoria Levendahl, Fort Collins, Colorado, to serve as a representative of the Department of Education, reappointed. Jared Prochnow of Fruita, Colorado, to serve as a public member not employed by state government, reappointed. Gretchen Jamie Russo of Denver, Colorado, to serve as a representative of the Department of Human Services, reappointed. Sherry Greco of Denver, Colorado, to serve as a public member not employed by state government, appointed.
System Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the confirmation of all the appointments listed in the consent calendar, which includes Rachel Victoria Levendahl of Fort Collins, Jared Prochnow of Fruita, Gretchen Jamie Russo of Denver, and Sherry Greco of Denver.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the confirmation of all the appointments on the consent calendar. Are there any no votes on the consent calendar? With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, those appointments are confirmed. Signing of bills.
March 1st, 2023, the President has signed House Bill 1034, 1053, and 1071.
Announcements. Before we have others come up, members, we have a very special day. Happens to be someone's birthday here in the chamber. Will the Capitol Choir please assemble in the well as we recognize Senator Marchman's birthday.
Yeah, I probably ought to be in the mic.
I'll tell you more why. I'll tell you more later. Me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Senator Marchman.
Happy birthday to you. May the dear Lord bless you, shower graces on you. May the dear Lord bless you, Senator Marchman. May the dear Lord bless you.
Yeah, he does it every time. I know, it's so
Senator Hawkins Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Guess who is coming to the Capitol tomorrow? Close, the Colorado Optometry Association. But tonight is your chance to attend their legislative reception. I know you're, yes, to see them. Actually, they said, these are the folks who are the doctors who care for our eyes. So tonight at the Warwick Hotel from 5:30 to 7, please come to see them. And if you're asking me if they're doing eye screenings, I don't know about that. But they will also be here tomorrow on the chamber floors. So please come tonight. Thank you.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. President. May I ask for a moment of personal privilege?
Moment of personal privilege granted.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I am very excited to welcome a very special and important group to the Senate floor today. Staff and volunteers from Habitat for Humanity are at the Capitol today. They're here back in the corner with us, of course, advocating for affordable home ownership. As many of you know, there are 25 Habitat for Humanity affiliates building for sale affordable housing in 45 of our communities across the state. And today we have Habitat representatives in addition to former Senator Schwartz, who works for Roaring Fork Habitat. We have folks from Mesa County, Eagle County, Garfield County, Pitkin, Larimer, Boulder, Jefferson, Park, Summit, Grand, El Paso, Arapahoe, and Denver counties. Many of them are here sitting on the Senate floor with us, and I just want to thank them for all the work that they do every day to impact our communities and give our nurses, our police officers, our teachers, and our workforce across the state an affordable place to call home. Thank you for everything you do, and welcome to the Capitol.
Senator Fields.
Good morning, Mr. President and colleagues. Members of the Senate Health and Human Services Committee, we do have committee this afternoon at 1:30. We have several bills up for consideration, and then we have one bill up for action only. So see you at 1:30. We're going to be in Senate Committee Room 357.
Senator Janal.
Thank you, Mr. President Pro Tem. Just an announcement for the legislative, there will be a legislative caucus on aging. It will be the first of several at the Capitol this session. It's from tomorrow, 8 a.m. I need this. 8 o'clock in the morning until 8:45 in room 112. And I welcome any of the legislators that have bills that have anything to do with the aging issues, whether it be workforce, health, education, finance, whatever it is. Please come down and tell the Legislative Caucus on Aging what your bills are and why they should support that. So again, tomorrow morning, 8 to 8:45 in room 112, the Legislative Caucus on Aging.
Any additional announcements? Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. President. Agriculture and Natural Resources Committee, we are meeting this afternoon at 1:30, although we might get started just a few minutes late. But we have a confirmation for the Coal Mine Board of Examiners, and then we will hear House Bill 1125, followed by Senate Bill 159.
And I have two announcements. Members, Senate State Veteran Military Affairs Committee will be meeting today at 1:30 in Old Supreme Court for boards and commissions approvals. And then also wanted to make a second announcement that tomorrow is Denver Zoo Day. Denver Zoo will be by the Old Supreme Court at 7:30 a.m. with breakfast and zoo animals. Please stop by. And Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Colleagues, the Senate Business Labor Technology Committee will meet upon adjournment. That will start at 10:30. So be there, be square.
And Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
All right. Seeing no further business, colleagues, I move that, thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate adjourn until 9 a.m. Friday, March 3rd.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the Senate will adjourn until 9 a.m. Friday, March 3rd, 2023.